Hey, there we go. Music's off. We're doing things a little differently today. We don't have a mixer in the studio. Welcome everybody to the First Layer. My name's Richard. This is normally our Sunday Ask for Help, but today we're doing something a little different. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I'm on a different mic today, so I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me today. Just want to say hi to Non-Fam, who is here early, and I don't know why Non-Fam is not a moderator today. He normally is. Andrew S., hello. Tim Postma, one of our newest subscribers. Hello, Tim. We got Jose Ferreira. We've got Mike Brown. Rex Waldy. Hello, Rex. Mark L. Baker. Guy the Jedi. Gary T. should also be a moderator today. Jared Armstrong. Matt Gurman. Mac CJ12345. DeWitt 3D, my good friend Tim. Yep, everybody says they can hear me, so that's good. Audio is good. I have multiple accounts, Tim Postma says. Okay, so what are we doing today? Well, today we are going to be building this thing. I'm just going to quickly switch cameras here so you guys can see what I'm doing. We are going to be building this guy today. We're streaming on two platforms today. We're streaming directly to Facebook and to Twitch today. I'm trying to get things worked out. I don't know why it would not connect to Facebook today, but I'll figure that out for another week. So we'll get to doing that. We're going to use our favorite unboxing tool. That's this guy right here. This is a knife that was given to me by my good friend Peter Reynolds, who is still, by the way, suffering in hospital with an infection from his recent surgery. I just hope that you'll all keep him in your thoughts, please. So we have the Lulzbot Taz SideKick 747. Now, I reached out to Lulzbot. Tim Postma, actually this all comes from Tim Postma. Tim wanted me to do a review on their Mini 2. Unfortunately, their Mini 2 is not available for reviewers like myself. So I spoke with the president of the company, and he was willing to send me out this one as sort of a trial run. Now, this is not mine to keep. This is not mine to give away. This is not mine to sell. This will be going back to Lulzbot at some point in time in the future. But we are working on building a relationship to do more with Lulzbot. For anybody that doesn't know, Lulzbot is a US-based company. They are not an overseas company, so they've been around for quite some time. In 2019, they were bought by another corporation, and they've gone full steam ahead. And in 2020 or 2021, they officially released the SideKick. This is a more than 50% 3D printed 3D printer. It has a lot of great features to it. It's easy to assemble. You need literally no tools other than a knife to open the box, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have a quick look over here at the comments and see what we got going on. Do it. Okay, so nobody's got any comments yet. I'm gonna try and monitor the comments the best that I can today. So without any further ado, let's get into this because we're gonna run long today as we normally do. I'm just going to stand up here, and you're going to see my my pajama pants. So what do we get in the box? Well, this box was opened by Customs, so it was retaped. Inside the box, we're going to start with a quick start guide. Okay, so we've got the quick start guide, and now we are going to pull out the printer. So the best way to do this is, let's move that out of the way. I'm on a card table today. You know, when I redid the studio, I didn't think too much about how I was going to set up for unboxings, because I didn't think I was going to have a lot of unboxings this year, but it looks like things are going to be very different in that design. Okay, so we've got that. There's a little something in the bottom of the box here. It looks like one of the plastic retainer clips is broken, but no big deal. All right, so let's move to another camera. I just want to show you guys a couple of things here before we go ahead and finish unboxing this thing. So first and foremost, we get ourselves a simple setup guide, which is right here. We also get a bag of goodies. All right, so in the bag of goodies, we're just going to open it up. It's a nice thick Ziploc bag. So what do we get in here? There's our warranty card. We'll just put that aside. Actually, we're going to just put that back in the box. They give us a sample of Polylite PLA in that nice Lulzbot green color. We have an SD card right here. So there's our SD card. Then we have a sample of green filaments from 3D Fuel. That's from these guys. I've used 3D Fuel in the past. I really like 3D Fuel. Loved their filament for a long time. You get a Lulzbot sticker. I hope I don't have to send that back because I like stickers. We get some parts, which we're going to need for assembly. We have our, I'm assuming this is where your filament goes through. This is not a filament detection unit or filament out detection unit. This is just their simple filament guide. Then we have a really nice triple light 6-foot USB cable, which we're going to make use of. And then of course we have our power cable. Okay. Then there is a box. Inside the box, what do we got inside the box? Is the box, why is it so tough to open? Oh, because I'm not opening it right. Okay, so inside the box, we get literally nothing but a set, a really nice set of metric hex wrenches. What I really like about these guys, and I don't know if you can see that very well, but what I really like about these is that they've got those nice rounded ends. So you don't have to go straight in. You can also go in on an angle. It will grab quite nicely. Okay, so we're not going to make use of those at the moment. So we're just going to put those aside. Let's go back to here. And we've got some, oh, there we go. We're going to start by removing the foam. That's the one thing they tell you to do first, is remove the foam. Put that all in the box because we're going to have to save this for later anyway. Now there is some foam here around the bed, and if I'm not mistaken, we have to take out this little guy right here. There is, you'll see that there's a bunch of orange pieces. All these orange pieces have to come out. So this is made from TPU. So we're just going to just grab that out of there. There we go. Throw that off to the side. There's ones on the belts. We'll take those off fairly shortly. But this now allows us to move the bed up and down so that we can, oh, we got to do this first. Take these off. There are 4 screws. All the screws that you need for this are right on the chassis. You don't need any additional screws to put this together. So we're going to just take all these out. It's so simple. So simple. This is also going to allow us to remove the bed from the frame. I really like how nice and compact this is. I'm just going to put those over there so I don't lose them. It's really nice and compact. I mean, this is amazing the way this is set up. Now, people might say, for what this is, why is there so many 3D printed parts on it? Well, there's so many 3D printed parts on it because, there we go. There we go. Now we can get that out of there. Because it's designed to be 3D printed and be able to be upgraded. There we go, we got that one. Now we can get this bed out of here. We can take that, all of this foam out. Just pop that over there for now. And then we're going to lift up the bed. We're just going to slide that out. Don't think I'm catching on anything. Nope. There we go. There's the bed out. Simple, easy peasy. We're going to get rid of the rest of this foam. Boom. That's done. So let's take a quick peek at what we've got here. So we've got all of these orange clips which have to come off. Now this kit here retails for around $1,285 US. And the reason for that is this is what they call their standard kit. And the standard kit is designed to be a kit that has everything that you need. What I mean by that is that it has, whoop, that actually just came off of there. Well, we'll fix that. This is our print head. Let's take that out of there for a moment. Now, these sort of got bent up a little bit. I think that might have had something to do with the, there we go, that one's in there. We'll get this one, and we'll reseat this one in just a minute or two. But the reason that this is set up like this is because it's very modular. One of the modularity parts of this printer is that you can repair pretty much anything on it at any time. So what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, there we go. We'll just put that guy back in there. All right, so he's back in there now. We'll heat him up a little bit later on. You want to have all of this be able to be 3D printed. So if anything breaks, you can reprint it, plain and simple. And their standard setup, when they ship these, they ship them so that you have the ability to add a screen, like we have right here. You can add a tool head, like we have right here. In this case, we have their standard tool head. This tool head is all ready to go. It's a direct drive based on the Aero Titan. This is a genuine E3D V6 setup, so you're getting quality parts. There is I believe it's a Rambo board that is inside the power or inside your control. You're using a high quality power supply. We're just gonna turn that and just have a quick peek at that. This looks to be, this is a Meanwell power supply on the bottom, and for anybody that knows that I'm a big fan of Meanwell. As we go through and start and finish taking off all of the pieces here that keep everything in place. Again, really easy, quick setup. Like, I can't believe how quick this is to set up. There we go. That's to protect our BL Touch. And the last one is right here on the front. And there we go. All of that has now been taken off. So one of the things that we're going to do quickly before we go much further is we are going to put the main board into its proper position. All you got to do is just take off these two clips, turn the main board, and then put these two clips back on. Simple, easy. Now, I've never had one of these 3D printers before in my life, so this is all really new to me. A couple of the standout features is these are belts. They're using a belt drive system. One of the upsides to a belt drive system is you don't get Z-wobble, which we all know is a problem with the standard lead screws. I'm going to quickly have a look here over at our chat. Yeah, I love their green color theme. I really do too. This one is their stealth black, so it's mostly black with green accents. They also have the green one with black accents. All right, so Gary T says a 6 foot is much better than 6 inch. Okay, I thought Lulzbot had gone out of business. Andrew, they did not. What happened with these guys is they were bought by another company. They were going in, I believe they had filed for bankruptcy at one point, but then a new company had come along and pulled them out, had bought them up, and kept the name brand and kept the IP and everything, and is continuing to make Lulzbot 3D printers. Andrew says, Derek is trying the SD holder in resin, so find out how that prints in resin. Oh, that might be interesting. Okay, so I think I got through all the comments real quick. All right, so now that we've gone this far, where do we go from here? Is there anything else that we need to take off? No. Another feature of this setup is you will notice that this is fairly tight. This x-axis is fairly tight, but it can drop. What keeps it in place is that there are magnets, neodymium magnets on either side, so you can park it right up into the top of the chassis. And that way you're not going to get that drop that you would get if you were doing it any other way. So on the bed, really quickly before we move on the bed, we got the glass bed with the PEI top. There is a full user's guide. We're going to get to that in just a little bit, but we are going to take off all of the goodies. So there is a scan code there that you can go ahead and download their user's guide. And then they have a warning here. At Lulzbot, we respect your freedom to modify your Lulzbot desktop 3D printer. However, any modifications or attempted repairs that cause damage are not covered under the warranty. And if you've got questions, you can certainly send them your questions. That's a really nice PEI. Now that does not come up or come off the bed. So that's something that you have to be aware of. So when you are using a glass bed like this, you have no flexibility, as you know. So you are going to need to get underneath it with a scraper of some sort. So let's go ahead and start putting this together. All you simply do is you grab the bed, you slide the bed all the way to the back, you get it in place. I believe that's how it goes right there. So that would be pretty much lined up to the front. That's pretty much lined up to the back. So what I want to show you is on the bottom, you're going to see that they have these little green guide rails or little green stops. And what those stops do is they go on either side of these capture nuts. So we're just going to drop those into place. It drops into place nice and cleanly. No fuss, no muss. Now we are going to go ahead and grab this little guy, which has our parts in it. And that is an interesting part. We'll figure out what that's for in just a little bit. And how these go on is they just basically sit on here like so. There are three little indentions. Go here. You can see that there's three little indentions on the bottom. Those made up with three indentions that are on each one of these little posts. Then we take our black thumb screws that we got, and we simply do this. Drive that thumb screw right in there. And you don't have to get crazy with these, you just gotta tighten them down. You don't have to be Hercules. I'll pop that one in place. Make sure that we're right on the, oh, yeah, no, I got it right. I was thinking I didn't have it right. There we go. We'll slide the bed forward. We'll put the two at the back. There we go. Man, I've never had this much of an easier time putting something together. Now, aesthetically looking at this, I mean, this to me is probably one of the nicest looking printers I've ever seen. You've got wheels on the top, as you can see here, to adjust the tension of these upright cables. You also have one here on the left-hand side of the printer to adjust the belt tension on the head. Then you have one on the front to adjust the belt tension for the bed. Now, everything is pre-calibrated on this unit, so you really don't have to do anything. We're pretty much almost done putting this whole thing together. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to have a look at this setup, which is right here. And this is for, I'll turn this around a little bit. We're going to actually connect the bed to our, I believe that's the one that goes in there. Yep. I believe so. Or am I wrong? I am wrong. That does not go in there. Look at that. This one goes in here. It's got this nice TPU boot on it. There's only one way for this to go in. We'll slide that one in, and then we will slide this one in. Wow, that actually went together really easily. Remember this little black piece? That little black piece right there that we took out of the bag? Well, we are now going to put it in to lock in our cable for our bed. Really nice. I really like the way that is set up. Nice and easy, simple. The next thing to do is to assemble or to add the head. And if we look at the head, we have our cable for the head right here, up at the top, and then we have our head. Now on the back, you'll see that there's three little indentations. Hopefully you guys can see those. So you can see that we've got these three little indentations on the back. There's three screws that hold this in place. Those two and that one. And guess what? That's all that holds this in place. Pretty nifty. Here's our cable to keep our cable in line, and the BL Touch, and everything gets connected. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Alrighty, so we are going to take the head. Now you've got three different screws. You'll see there's two short ones and one long one. The long one goes in the back while the two short ones go in the top. So we are going to grab this like so, and we'll take the long one just to kind of get things started. Put the long one through. There we go. Tighten that up. Might take a little bit of finesse. There we go. Got to get it seated right. Okay. This can take a little bit of finesse. I can feel it now. I think I've got it now. No, not yet. I'm not quite grabbing that where I should be. Maybe I need to put the top ones in first. Let's try that. Let's just try getting. There we go. Get that one in. We will get this one in. It's kind of in a weird spot. There we go. I may have to stand up to do this. There we go. There we are. Now we should be able to get that back one in. It does a, no. Sometimes you just got to turn things around and have a look at them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can see in there. And of course, I don't have anything here to kind of look down in there. And there we go. There's the head dropping. Get this put together real quick. Got that down in there. Throw that on there so that our cable doesn't go all over the place. I'm gently going to let it down onto the bed. There's a little TPU ring here just to help keep that secured in place. All right, so let's bring this back up. Boom. Let's try and get that last screw in there. I think I got it now. There we go. Yeah, it just had to move that BL Touch over just ever so slightly. All right, and then the last cable that we have to connect is for our bed axis, our Y axis. We're just going to connect that power cable, slide that boot up over top. And this is exactly how quick it is to assemble this. Good afternoon, HVAC. All right, so what do we do now? Well, the best thing for us to do would be go over to the computer, take a look at the disc that comes with it, and go ahead and maybe start a print. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. Go back to this one. There we go. All right, let's see if we can't catch up. Quick and easy. Yep, quick and easy. Easy. So did we do everything that we were supposed to? We unpacked it. We didn't turn it on. It's still turned off. It's not even plugged in. We're going to have to do that right away. It says take the software out. So we're going to do that. Wherever we put that. There it is. We're going to take the little software. We're going to open that up. Now, one of the things I like to do when I'm using software like this is I like to copy it onto my hard drive or onto one of my hard drives. So that way I've got a backup of it and I don't have to continually use this. Put it in the card reader. There we go. I am going to put this over here so that you guys can see it. And there we go. And I'm just going to take all of this information that's on here. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to open up another drive. I'll just put it in my documents for now. We'll just make a new folder here in documents. New folder, there we go. And we'll just call this one Lulzbot. And we'll dump this in there. And everything should be dumped in. There it is. All right. Now, let's just open this up full screen. There we go. And then we'll close it out a little bit later. So in here, we have our PDF guide. Now bring that over. And in the PDF guide, it runs through everything from setting up, meet your sidekick. So it tells you all the parts of the sidekick, your tool head, and this is something that we discussed. One of the things I think that bothers me a little bit about this setup is that it does not have a, hey, 3DHP, there's Jerry. Hello, Jerry. Michael Castle, hello to Michael Castle. There we go, okay. Yeah, so the one thing I'm disappointed in is that it does not have a sock on the hothead. I like the silicone socks because what they do is they prevent the problem of thermal shock when the fan kicks in. So the way that the Arrow handles airflow and cooling is actually a very smart way of doing things. But at the end of the day, I still think that they could have had a sock. I think that's my only criticism. Then we get through simple setup guide. So there we are unpacking. We're going to go ahead and install the software right now. And let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to just move this out of our way. Come on now. Take this and move it out of our way. And we are going to open up their version of Cura, which is right here. And they use a version of Cura called Lulzbot 3.6.25. And it's a 32-bit version. So we're just going to go ahead and install this. In the meantime, if you've got any questions, we don't have the phone line up and running today, so I apologize for that. But we do have everything else going. Please go ahead and hit that like button if you're getting some value out of today. I'm really digging the Lulzbot way of doing things. I think other than the one little piece that was broken, but it wasn't a major break. It was just one of the retention pieces, as we see here. Just one of the retention pieces. Let me just go over here. Close this down. There we go. Put this on a screen where I can see it a little bit easier, so I can tell you what's on this. All right, so there we go. So we're going to go ahead and install the software. Next, install. There is an Octopus. We are going to use their Octopus STL. We're going to slice it in their slicer, and we're just going to use their default settings. Now, if you go to their website, you can find that they've got a lot more of the models that are already pre-sliced for this machine. You also can find all of the STLs that are available for replacing parts on this machine. They tell you exactly what material to use. You're going to use a PETG because all of these are made from a high quality PETG and TPU. Very much like Prusa, at $1,285 US for this machine. Or is that Canadian? I can't remember if that's Canadian or US. But at $1,285 complete, ready to go out of the box, not a bad deal. You can see it was like, what, 7 screws? 7 screws to put this whole thing together, connect a couple of simple things, and you're all set to go. Done. One of the things that they do recommend is that you connect through the USB cable so that you can do a firmware upgrade. I don't think I'm going to do that just at the moment. I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull that model in. As soon as it finishes loading, we're going to pull the model in, and then we're going to have a look at that current setup. So we're just going to wait for this to finish. Dr. Cleveland, yes, you like, I was going to ask you guys if you like the nice little addition to my wardrobe. I understand and I agree, yes. So it's asking us, what do we have? We have a SideKick 747. We have the SK 1.75 head, which has a 0.5 millimeter brass nozzle on it. It does not have a 0.4. This is what I was very intrigued by, the 0.5 nozzle, which will allow you to print with stuff like wood filament right out of the box. That little bit of an extra opening on the nozzle allows you to print wood much easier than you would with a 0.4 nozzle. Now, they also have several other heads available. You can actually get 2.85 millimeter heads. You can also get a variety of different ones, one with hardened steel, one with carbide coated copper, nickel plated copper. There's all kinds of different heads available for this. So we're going to add this printer. Yes, we have the LCD. All the machine settings have come up. We're going to say finish. And let's just drop this on this screen in full screen mode. There we go. All right. So you can see here that we've got all of our settings on the machine, and it's already got an octopus loaded for us. Now we can just go ahead and save to file if we want to save it to the file, or we can go ahead and use the cable. And I'm going to use this cable if it reaches. It may not reach. I may have to move the printer a little closer. All right. Oh, one of the other things I forgot to do, really silly of me, silly man. Let's go back to, I'll just kind of move you out of the way. Okay, one of the things I forgot to do, let's go to camera 1 here, is I forgot to level the feet. And there are leveling feet down here at the bottom to help you get a nice level set up. And all you got to do is just turn them and they will level out for you. So we got a nice level setup. The other thing I didn't do was I didn't drop the filament spool. And last but not least, I did not put on the reverse Bowden tube. And this reverse Bowden tube, if I am not mistaken, goes on just like this. Come on now. There we go. And then you just tighten that back up. And this moves freely back and forth. And then that will go over here. We'll take out that little bit of excess filament. Let's get some filament. We just happen to have some right here. We have our orange PLA. These are the mini rolls from filaments.ca. This is their Eco Tough, or pardon me, their Econofill PLA. So we're just going to straighten that out and give it a little clip. Now, the one thing I noticed is that there was no clippers in this setup. Do that at 45 degrees. And we'll just drive that right up through there. Now I need to plug it in, so I'm going to take off my headphones. We're going to go ahead and plug this in. Hey, there's Tripod's Garage. I have to figure out where the plug-in is for this. Not on the front. Not on the back. Well, ain't that just interesting? Ah, there it is. That's just goofy of me. What do we got here? I know I've got a place that I can plug into. I just have to decide which one to plug into. Not that one. Alrighty. So you want to back off this screw. I'm going to take the tension off. There we go. We're going to squeeze that forward. Get our filament in the machine. Drop that down in there. And then we're just going to tension that up till the screw's about halfway. All right, let's turn that on. Let's see if I can get this camera. Let's see how close I can get with this camera here. All right. So hopefully you guys can see that now. A little knob here to help that. Looks like we're in good shape. So currently it is showing us 25 degrees on the head, 25 degrees on the bed. We go in. Let's have a quick look at the info screen. I'm just going to switch cameras here once again. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. I'm going to pull off the, maybe that'll make it a little bit better for you. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. All right, so we are going to go in and we're going to tell it what tool head we have. We have the SK175. So now it knows exactly what tool head we have. We go into configuration. We can see we have advanced settings, controlling the fan, the BL touch, run out sensor, which we do not have. So we're going to turn that off. We can preheat. We can load. This is based around Marlin, so it is a standard open source it is a standard open source setup. So pretty easy. It's not that noisy. The fans are on right now, but it's not that noisy at all. I don't find it that noisy. You guys may have a different opinion. Just going to hold on to all these parts. It's now heating up to 200 degrees. The printing on this is Prusa, if not better quality. I think the quality on this is this a Prusa killer? At the price, I'm almost thinking yes. Because you can have, if you've got a previous Lulzbot, you can actually put any Lulzbot tool head on here. They all are interchangeable, which is kind of nice. So if you have a 2.5 head, you can put it on here. If you've got a another head with a different setup, you can put that on there. You can actually custom build your own setup as well. So once we have that established, we're going to go ahead and drive some filament through there. I'm just going to go to motion. Wow, that was cool. You can see that we've got some things going here. All right, so what we did was we parked the head. Now I'm going to go back into motion. I'm going to auto Z align. So what it's going to do is it's going to align the two Z's properly. You guys will be able to see that. That is cool. This uses trinamic drivers, so it is very quiet in terms of its operation. Where you're going to hear fan noises from the power supply and probably from the print fan. Okay, so that's done now. It's weird doing this backwards. And I'm going to go to move axis. I'm going to go to the Z. I'm going to bring that Z up. Look at that. And now I am going to go to the extruder because I want to push some material through. See how well it pulls this material through. Oh, I can feel it pulling. Oh, maybe not. Well, I may not be straight enough for that filament path. For some reason, it has not grabbed yet. And I can see that it's not grabbing yet. I'm going to loosen that off. There we go. Now I'm down in there. Am I? Oh yeah, I should be down in there. There we go. I should be down in that filament path now. Let's try this again. I can see what I'm doing. And here we go. Should be coming through there now. Still not. That seems very strange. Looks like it's getting hung up on something. I'm just going to snip this again real quick. Now that's definitely not going down far enough into the extruder to be grabbed. It's got to go down a little bit further. That's the problem with getting things, trying to straighten things out. Loading this seems to be a bit of a problem. Let's have a look at the comments. Okay. Yeah, nice fast Z-hop, that's for sure. I don't know if they've abandoned hobbyists so much as they have taken it to a completely different setup. And I think that this is trying to compete with that same market as Prusa. Thank you, Jerry, for letting people know about that. Are you sure about putting it through the top frame? No, not really. I could be wrong. It says load the filament PLA. Ensure that the filament is the correct diameter, which we know for the tool head that we have. So we are pretty much there. Gary says it is higher priced, but it's more in the Prusa range. I agree with that, 100%. Yeah, there might be a little bit of material that's stuck in there from the test. Let's go ahead and see if we can't go ahead and, I'm just going to turn it around so I can see it a little bit easier. And I will zoom this camera out so you guys can see as well what I'm doing. There we go. And we'll just go to this camera here. So you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to heat this up a little bit more. Right now it's just sitting around 200. The temperature could be a little bit low. So I'm going to squeeze that up to about 230. That'll melt anything that's in there. I love how clean this is. Like, it is super clean in terms of the way that it is set up. There's no grinding on the plastic itself. So, you know, I set this, when I set this studio up, I did not think about doing this studio as to do unboxings, and that was my mistake. I need to redesign this studio so that I can do unboxings the proper way, and I just didn't do that. Tripod's Garage says not through the frame, not through the top of the frame. Okay, so then we won't go through the top of the frame, but I am going to drop this down just a little bit. I know I'm going to have to come back and do this again. There we go. That was the problem. There was our problem. Yeah, there was our problem. Okay. So let's just push that back a little bit so you guys can see what's going on here. I'm just going to, now I'm going to push some material through. So we start getting some of our orange material out. We are going to plug in a USB. Hopefully that will reach, not quite, so we're going to have to bring you closer. Ooh. Might have to bring this whole table closer. Let's make sure those are on there. So you can see that we've got our material coming out. Just going to adjust this camera a little bit. Back it off just a bit. There we go. All right. These look really nice. I'm super stoked by this, by the way that this thing looks. Now, you should go ahead and clean the top of your plate with a little bit of alcohol. I don't have any absolutely handy at the moment, but I will at a point here right quickly. First things I want to do is I want to make sure that we are connected to the printer. So I'm going to go to the make sure that I'm connected. We are not using Polylite PLA. We are going to use a standard PLA. We'll just use a 3D Fuel PLA. And what else do I want to do here really quickly? I'm going to be doing a full review of the software and everything, so make sure that you guys, let's connect. Can we connect? Oh, look at that. Went all the way down. That was interesting. That actually gave me a little bit of a fright real quick. That was interesting. But it is now registering. So it says there's new user firmware, upgrade firmware. So it says manage printers. Let's go up to manage printers. Manage printers. Machine settings. Update firmware. So it's going to go down. It is now updating the firmware. It shut off the head and the bed, which is kind of cool. And now it's just doing its firmware update, which is actually really neat. Let's go back to this camera real quick. All right, let's have a look and see what you guys are talking about. Since it is dual Z, it doesn't have power loss recovery. No, it does not have power loss recovery as far as I know. Nuru says, I have a Lulzbot Taz 6 myself, but stopped using years ago. No magnetic bed, crappy 4-point leveling, no filament sensor. They have really upgraded that Taz 6 now, from my understanding. USB to USA, yes, that is what it is. Tim Gamble says, I see nothing special here for $1,300 bucks. Small build area, no magnetic flex PEI or filament runout. Now the filament runout and the flex PEI are options that you can get for this machine. You can swap out the glass bed for the flexible PEI. So that's not, and I don't think it's that much more money. Better off getting a Bamboo for 1,300 bucks. Well, the Bamboo is still in its infancy. I'm not going to knock Bamboo because they've got a great product and they are making huge waves in the industry right now. What I will say though is that Bamboo is new. So they're still working out some kinks, and that is evident through videos that are out online. Some guys have sent theirs back. Some guys have had to have updates done. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, we have new management, new ownership over at Lulzbot. The company that owns Lulzbot now is trying to make their way back into the marketplace. This is a great machine for schools. This is a great machine. Lulzbot has always been good for schools, for institutions like that, for maker spaces, that sort of thing. However, what do they have to offer? Well, we're going to find out exactly what they have to offer. The firmware is now updated. Okay, so we can close that. And settings are stored. All right, so now we're going to connect back to the printer. I believe we are connected. Start the print. So it's going to go to 205 and 60 on the bed. We can see that it's printing here. So it's using that BL Touch to balance the bed. One thing I do like about this, there's no adjustment for the bed whatsoever. This bed is the way that this bed is. You do not have to monkey around with leveling the bed, because right now what it's doing is it's creating a mesh on that bed using the BL Touch. And that is a genuine BL Touch. That's not a BL Touch that you're going to find on some other knockoff. This is a genuine BL Touch. This is not a knockoff BL Touch. They're also using a genuine E3D V6 Aero extruder and print head. Again, there's a lot of 3D printed parts on this. They're using a full graphics display. Now these graphics displays, I mean, you can get them anywhere, but the plus side to these graphics displays is that they're nice and big, they're easy to see. It's located in a spot that is easy. They're using, I believe they're using a Rambo board in this, which is the same board that Prusa uses with Trinamic driver, so it's nice and quiet. They're also using a Meanwell power supply, which to me is a premium product. I know it's been a while since I've done any unboxings and things like that, but I've always been a Meanwell supporter, and I will continue to be a Meanwell supporter. So the bed is heating. Oh yeah, geez, that gets nice and warm. And we are using USB 3D print, or we're using USB printing. So we're actually coming directly from the computer to the printer, which is something I don't normally do because a lot of times you get communication dropouts, but I want to see how this handles it. And it looks like it's going to handle it just fine. Yes, they also offer phone support. Hell, for this money, I'd buy Truden 2. I'm not familiar with that brand. It is leveling. It has done its leveling, and now we're going to see what it does for a first layer. See if I can zoom in on that first layer a little bit for you. There we go. So it's doing the octopus, which is fine, or the rocktopus as they call it. And I can tell you just by looking at that, that is a nice first layer. I've not come across a printer in a long time that is this easy to set up. Literally. This was like, I had it up and running in less than an hour. We're just over an hour in our live stream. We're going to continue to let this print. We'll check back in on it in just a little bit. I think that looks just fine. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Yeah, that looks just fine. Other than my own issues trying to get the filament in, but Tim Postma was absolutely right. I should have heated up the head to get any of the old filament out of there, and I didn't. I should have done that, and now that I've done that, it's printing perfectly. And I'm using the filaments.ca orange mini refill coil. I haven't had to adjust any of the belts. They're all very nice and tight, but there is a way to adjust them. It's fully adjustable. That first layer has come out beautifully. I haven't seen a good first layer like that in a long time. I'm very impressed by this. Nuru, that's fine. You can dislike Lulzbot. That's everybody's opinion is their own, and I don't begrudge anybody for having opinion about different brands. There are certainly brands I'm not a fan of, and at the end of the day, do I think this is a Prusa killer? Probably not. Do I think that this is a machine that will be a competition for them? In some way, yes, I do believe that. I think that at the end of the day, if you can't get a Prusa, we all know that Prusa now has taken over a company in the US, Printed Solid. Printed Solid is now part of the Prusa Corporation, and so it's easier to get machines in the US in a much more timely manner. Same thing here in Canada. It's easier to get them out of the US than it is to get them from the Czech Republic. But at the end of the day, you know, this one shipped to me. When they shipped this, I think it only took about a week for me to get it. And There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. The box was in good shape other than a couple of little knocks, but that's nothing. Everything is working fine. It's fairly quiet other than the fan on the hot end, or on the hot end and on the power supply. I just heard it kick in. It's not a bad unit at all. I think this is going to be a great little unit for printing parts in PLA, PETG. I'll print in some flexibles as well. I think there's a variety of materials that you can print with on this particular printer, and I'm looking forward to putting this one through its paces. Now, I printed the Rocktopus on my CR10 recently, a small one, the same size as this one, and where it became a problem was right at that at the joint where it makes the bend in the arm to give you that, or this symbol. Let me see if I can get it there. That symbol right there, the horns, the rock horns. The build size on this printer, I believe is, let me just pull this up really quickly. I am going to switch cameras one more time. There we go. So while we're talking about this, we are going to, let's go to the size. Okay, let's go to the size. There is the 289 and the 747. The 289 is the smaller of the two units. The SideKick 289 has a 6 3/8 by 6 3/8 by 7 1/8 build volume, whereas the SideKick 747 is 9 inches by 9 inches by 9 3/4 inches. So it's a little bit bigger than your standard Ender 3 style 3D printer. It's very solid in the frame. I'm not on the most stable table. You can choose your tool head. You can choose your build surface. You can do a display controller, which we have on this one. You can also have a filament runout center. So we're going to select the tool head that's on here. You can get it without a tool head. So if you have a Taz already in your stable of 3D printers, you can actually buy this without a tool head so that you don't have to buy another tool head. You can use a tool head from your previous Taz, which is a really nice feature, I think. So let's add that. To buy a tool head, it is $195, and this is the SK175, so that's the one we're going to add. The PEI glass, the glass bed that is on here, there's no additional charge for the glass bed, but if you want to take advantage of their spring steel, it's $30. The LCD controller, which is this one, the GLCD, is an additional $95. Now, there is a filament runout sensor. We don't have it on ours, so we're going to go without the filament runout sensor. So we'll select 0 there. You can add a premium toolkit. You can add some Polymaker filaments. They also have a filament management solution. You can get an extended warranty for this as well. This does come with a 1-year warranty. So right now, the way that this is configured, oh, they've got us at a 289. We don't want the 289. We want the 747. That's the one that we want. Now, the 289 is out of the box, or pardon me, the 289 is less money. The SideKick bare is $995. So when you buy this with the head that we have, with the LCD controller that we have, it comes to $1,285 delivered to your door. So now let's, yeah, so $1,285 gets you the Stealth Black, which we have here, the SK 175 or 1.75 tool head, the glass PEI bed, the GLCD controller, and in stealth black. Let's have a quick look at the chat here. What's the build size? We covered that. 231 by 231 by 248. Jedi says, yep. Imperial, really? That's the way they have it listed on their website. LOL, 3D printing made me entirely metric. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. DeWitt says, bottom line is it seems like another high quality printer for anyone who doesn't want the hassle of cheap printer. That is not reliable as Lulzbot, Prusa, etc. I think you get what you pay for. And I couldn't agree with that more. I think that is the exact statement. I know we're all looking to save money, and that's definitely what we want to do at the end of the day. But we also are getting away from, I think the movement now is getting away from, let's just build it ourselves. Let's just get a box of parts from a company and try and assemble it all together with really poor instructions. With a box full of screws and a bunch of tools. Really, you don't need any tools to assemble this printer. And I got to tell you, I am super stoked about this printer. I want to see if I can do a picture-in-picture here. Oh, it's not going to allow me. Oh, that's why. Okay, I know why. Let me see if I can just fix that. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. Turn that off. See if I can go to picture-in-picture here. Turn that on. That's not the one that I want. Let's close that. Let's close that. TV camera 1. Oh, we're going to make this camera 2. There we go. And we are going to go to camera 3. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. That is looking amazing. I am super stoked about that. I'm still getting used to using the ATEM, so you'll have to bear with me. Yeah, 3D experiments, I agree with you on that. No doubt cheap Chinese printers come with hassle for free. Yeah, they do. And, you know, this takes me back to my very first printer. My very first printer was a Hicktop 3D P08. That Hicktop 3D P08 was the biggest piece of crap that I could have ever bought. I didn't do the research. I saw it, I bought it for the price that it was. I didn't do the research, which that's my own fault. I should have done that research, and I didn't. At the end of the day, where did that put me? Well, it put me in a situation whereby I couldn't justify it. I ended up spending another $250, bringing the total cost of that printer up to roughly about $700 when I finally got it to run. And if I had just thought about it, I would have taken that money and just put it into a Prusa at the time, Prusa Mark I or Mark II at the time. I've been at this now for 7 years. And in all honesty, I should have done my research, because the Hicktop was really a Prusa clone for all intent and purposes, and it really did not do what I wanted it to do. It did print me enough parts that I could go ahead and build my own Prusa clone, which I did. And then I built a Wilson 2 3D printer, which is very similar to this style of printer here. It just had a much longer bed. But very similar in the style of this printer. This printer is rock solid. You know, just from the little bit of experience that I have with it right now, it is rock solid. And I can't say enough good things about the ease of how this went together. And using the computer to put this whole thing together, or to send a file. Normally, I'm a guy who puts it on the SD card. I take the SD card, just like you see here. I take that SD card and I will usually put it into the side of the machine and do my printing from the SD card. This is actually one of the only times on this show that I've ever used a USB cable to send a print to the printer, other than using Octoprint in the past. Okay, 3D experiments. Is my imagination, or is Canada now the de facto English-speaking country for 3D printing YouTubers? I don't know. Could be. I've been doing this show for 5 years. My good friend DeWitt, he's been at it for 2 years. Another good friend of mine that is here is 3DHP, Jerry. If you haven't subscribed to Jerry's channel, please do so. Also go ahead and subscribe to DeWitt 3D Canada. Both those guys have excellent channels. Jerry has a roundtable that he does every week. Sometimes twice a week, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Jerry, if you could put your link to your channel in the chat, I would appreciate that. DeWitt, please put your link in as well. You guys should go and check these guys out. Definitely worth watching. Naru says, wrenching on your 3D printer builds the skills you need to troubleshoot it. The problems I had in the beginning of 3D printing turned me into a great troubleshooter. And I can't disagree with that. That did the same thing for me. However, we are now living in a world where people just want to take it out of the box and start using it right away. And those people that don't want to learn about all the ins and outs of how the extruders work or how Bowden tubes affect, what's the difference between direct drive and this and that. Printers like this are a very good setup for that, I think. Tim Postma says he's been printing since 2015. Guy the Jedi, I follow them all, and Tripod's Garage too. Yeah, Tripod's Garage, go check him out as well. Maple Leaf Makers, TFL, DeWitt. Yeah, there's a lot of us around. Must be in the water. Yeah, definitely. Tripod's Garage, I haven't seen his stuff for a while, and that's my fault. Sorry about that, Tripod. I need to get back to watching your channel. TK's 3D printing channel, he was saying that it took a knock during the lockdown. You know, the lockdown affected a lot of people. It affected my channel. It affected me personally. And like I said in previous live streams, last year was my worst year ever. And this year, I'm turning all that around. As you can see, we've got a brand new printer that we're using. I don't know how long this is going to take. It says it's got about another 18 minutes. So we're going to keep going at least for another 18 minutes until this finishes. Again, I could be on a more stable table. I do have to redo this studio again. The weird thing is that with the way the studio is set up right now, I didn't think about doing unboxings because I wasn't really thinking about doing unboxings at that time. I was going to try and give up unboxings and just get back to helping people with their 3D printing problems, which is what my channel was built on in the first place. However, with that said, I decided that, you know, it's probably going to be that kind of year because I've had several companies already reach out to me. I reached out to Lulzbot because I was very interested. Tim Postma kind of lit that fire underneath me, and so I reached out to them, and they were more than willing to send out this 3D printer for me to test and play with and use in the upcoming videos. But I do not own this printer. At some point in time, it will go back to the guys at Lulzbot. But building a relationship with companies like this is an important thing for my channel because it helps to keep my channel going. Now, my channel survives on you guys watching. It survives on the ads that play. It survives on the members that are in our membership. It survives on the super chats that we get from time to time. And that's how this channel keeps afloat, really. I do work for filaments.ca, so I do have a day job with them. I'm a troubleshooter for their materials. If anybody has a problem with their materials, they can reach out to me, either through filaments.ca or directly. And that's how I met Tim, was through filaments.ca. Great guy. Not Tim DeWitt 3D, but Tim Postma. Not even does any printing, LOL. Hey, B-Roll, he says, hi from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm a complete newbie to 3D printing. It is channels like yours that have been the biggest help. Well, thank you very much, B-Roll. B-Roll, I want to say first and foremost, welcome to the channel. And, you know, folks like you help us out. So those likes are a little thin, though. We got 35 people watching right now, but those likes are only at 16. By putting those B-roll or by putting those likes up, it really goes to help get this channel in front of other people, which helps our overall algorithm with YouTube. YouTube's really strange that way. Very strange that way. I'm in Calgary. Gary T's in Calgary. DeWitt 3D is in Calgary. So B-roll, you've got a lot of guys to rely on. Are Lulzbot printers based on Marlin? Yes, they are. Do they get regular firmware updates? From my understanding, they do not. I think because of the way that their setup is already done, it doesn't really need to have any updates. I'm sure when an update comes out, they do roll them out and they will let people know. Tim Postma's out in Ontario. Tim from DeWitt 3D says, let's hit 35 likes and I'll give away a free smile on my stream later. You know what? If we hit 35 likes, I'll give away a free smile right here today, which would be very cool. This thing is rocking. Like, I'm 22 minutes left, it says, or 22 minutes in. There's not much time left on it. Let's have a quick peek at the software, see if the software has a time estimate on it. Final printing time, it says 25 minutes. Or pardon me, printing time is 33 minutes to do this Rocktopus. We're 25 minutes in. We have 7 minutes and 58 seconds left. That's actually pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. I can't complain. Input Shaper, I will ask them about it. I am going to be doing my full review on this printer for Wednesday, so you'll get my full review on the SideKick on Wednesday. And I will be using it for other 3D prints moving forward. I have some stuff that I want to do in terms of things I need here in the studio. And then I'm going to be changing around the studio again. I know I just did it for 2023, but now if I've got printers coming in, companies want to send me printers for review. I don't take every printer for review. I don't take a lot of stuff from review. People reach out to me all the time, and it probably because of the longevity of my channel. I don't have a huge subscriber base in comparison to some other people out there. I'm still under 34,000 subscribers, but at the end of the day, I've been consistent enough to be noticed by some of these companies. What printers do I really like? I'm going to tell you straight up that I am a Creality fanboy. I think that they've got good products. Do they do things a little shady at times? Yeah, I think they do. I also like Two Trees. I think they have good products in the Bluer Plus, which I have and I don't use very often. I really wish I would use it more. I do like Frozen. I like their resin printers. I think that is a great printer to use. Katie Wood, there's a new name I've never seen before. Welcome, Katie Wood. I've never 3D printed for some reason. YouTube suggested this, watching out of curiosity. Well, Katie, welcome. And 3D printing is a great hobby. You don't have to know a ton of stuff to get into 3D printing. If you know something about design, then you're one step ahead of a lot of people that are getting into 3D printing today. B-roll. That's good because I am a full-blown tinkerer. I cannot leave well enough alone. I'm in the same boat. I have the Artillery Sidewinder X1 and have all the stuff to upgrade it beyond the X2. Just need a set of hands. Very cool. Shawdell 3D. It looks like you're heading out. Thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate that. When it comes to 3D printing, if you're brand new to this, this is something that I think a lot of people are now starting to see the benefits of 3D printing. Like, you guys will know that I've printed stuff like this. You know, this is a big TPU squishy beaver. Getting away from toys, you can print things like this. This is the Maker Faire robot that I built. This is a great thing that you can print for your kids. We'll just go back to here. So this is a great thing to print for your kids, teaching them about robotics. Very inexpensive to build. All the parts are readily available on Amazon. I did a full video on this, and it definitely is well worth just getting into 3D printing just for something like that. If you want to teach a little bit about engineering, 3D printing is a great way to do it. It's a great way to teach a little bit about design as well, because there's a lot of free programs out there that are very easy to use. Tinkercad is the number one that I really like. If you're a little bit more inclined, you can move on to using higher end software like Fusion 360. However, that being said, I think that at the end of the day, if you're new to 3D printing and you're very curious about getting into 3D printing, on this show, we've done some really cool things. Right now, I'm in the process of building a camera jib that will allow me to get really cool shots. All 3D printed camera jib. We built rockets on the show using 3D printing. You can make tools out of 3D printing that will work and last for a while. You can make cookie cutters. There's just, the possibilities are endless. We've done hydroponic systems. We've done self-watering flower pots. We've done all kinds of things on this show over the years. B-roll says, I'm a high-level quadriplegic with no hand function. I understand all the mechanics of the 3D printer, but with my mushy brain syndrome, I have issues with the programming end of it. I can certainly understand that, and I'm sorry to hear about your disability. And whatever we can do, B-roll, you just let us know. If you need something printed, I'm sure there's a lot of guys in here today that would help and go ahead and print things for you. Or design things for you. I know we've got some designers here. TK's 3D prints, I'm in your boat with too many printers, Taz 6, first to retire. I've got, at one point in this house, and Tim from DeWitt 3D can actually confirm this, we had almost 20 printers in my house alone that we've built up over the years. Some I built, some that I bought, lots that were sent to me from different companies. I'm very happy with Prusa. I'm very happy with Creality. We're going to see how this Lulzbot works out, and but based on the way that this is printing, I can tell you that I'm real happy with the way that this is working out. If we go back to that setup, there we go, my big head in the way. We can see that our Rocktopus is almost done. And he's coming out great. Look how nice that is. That is really, really nice. Tripods Garage, no gave away 10 printers and continue to give them away. Yeah, I'm going to be in that same boat this year. When people send me printers, I don't like to sell them because I didn't pay for them. I've used them and I might as well pass them on to people that can use them. That was a pretty fast print. I mean, it was a little over half an hour to do this print. And in all honesty, this thing works great. There we go, all done. You can see that it goes to the back. And we'll have to wait for that to... I like that it has these little tabs right here. Makes it, will make it easy once the bed's cooling. So right now we're just going to go to, oh, it's still doing its thing. So once it's done doing its thing, we'll be able to take that little Rocktopus off there. Once the bed's cooled, you don't want to take a print off the bed when it's hot. You want to wait till it's cooled down before you take it off the bed. But like I said, this thing was so easy to put together. I couldn't, man, I haven't seen a printer like this in a long time. So far, I'm very happy with it. I would, it would be something I would purchase. I don't know if they are going to offer me a purchase option for it if I wanted to decide to hold on to it or keep it. But I can tell you, this is going to be coming with me to Maker Faire this year, so that we can show this off at Maker Faire. And in all honesty, I think it's going to be a great little printer for what we do here. But I think that's about it. If you guys have any more questions about this, please leave them in the comments after the stream. We only hit 25 likes, but that's okay. I can live with that. I can live with that. We only hit 25 likes, but you know what? It is what it is. And here's a smile anyway. Here, let's go to the right screen. Big smile. There we go. I've got a little bit of work to do here in sorting things out, and we're using the lav today, which I had to dig out of the box. This lav, because I don't use a lavalier all that often, the only reason I pulled it out was because I wouldn't be using my main mic today. This lav is actually going to be going to a DeWitt 3D to replace the shotgun mic that I've got over there helping him out right now. I think this is going to be a much better option for him. So I'm going to take this over to his place probably next weekend. And it will be easier for him to use than the other lavalier mic that he has. I like the quality of this mic. It really does a nice job. B-roll says he was supposed to go last year but had medical issues. I'm sorry. We'll definitely be planning to go this year. I will be there. DeWitt 3D will be there. We're working on having I'm trying to get some of the guys from the US to come up and be a part of our Maker Faire that are in the 3D printing and making space, to be speakers at our event. We're looking for a much bigger and better event going this 2023. 13th and 14th at the BMO Center is where we're going to be in Hall E, I believe. DeWitt 3D and I are going to be combining our booths, so we'll have our booths right next to each other, so he can help me out when I'm doing my MC duties and that sort of thing, which I will be doing a lot of. And if you are in the Calgary area, if you know some people that are into audio and video, we are looking for somebody who would like to wander around with a video camera and videotape and get a bunch of B-roll for us that we can use in marketing going into next year. Tripod Garage, I will take one of your hand. I'm not sure what that means. You know what? We got about another 15 minutes. I'm going to make this a full 2 hours. Let's go a full 2 hours today. So let's look at your questions in the chat if you've got any. Oh, take off your hands. Oh, okay. So you're gonna take Guy the Jedi wants to take a 3D printer off your hands. That's what it is. Wow, that bed's still cooling. You know, that bed is at still at 45 or at 51 degrees. It hasn't fully cooled down. Wow. It is still quite warm. That's not bad. You'll see how this thing releases. Hopefully it releases in time. But I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of this. Let's just have a look at this one more time. That thing looks great. Yeah, the motor's still engaged. Let's stop the print. I'm sure I can do this. Yeah, there we go. Print aborted. Because it doesn't need to print anymore. So I'm going to go to motion. Bed leveling. M48 probe set. There's some really cool stuff on here. I'm going to just push this up to the screen. Unfortunately, guys, you can't see that very well, but there is some really neat things here in the menus. Like you can move the axis, you can auto home, you can park the nozzle, you can home the X, Y, and Zs, you can auto Z align. There's bed leveling, there's M48 probe test, there's disabling the steppers, which is what we're going to do right now so that I can move that bed back. Our little rocktopus is still rock solid on there. I'm going to grab myself a quick scraper. Here we go. So I'm going to use one of these. And we're just going to get in. See if we can't get in underneath our octopus. Now that came off really nice. However, oh, there's one leg. The only thing I don't like about these scrapers, let me see if I can push this back down. There we go. One thing I don't like about these scrapers is that they don't really have much of an edge on them. So it's really hard to get up underneath some of the prints. And I don't want to damage the PEI that's on here. So I think I'm going to just have to wait for this to, just going to have to wait, yeah, take a grinder and sharpen the edge. I do actually have to do that. I have a grinder, I should sharpen the edge. Over 100 vintage cameras B-roll has. Wow. Man, I'd like to tour your little museum. I'm a big vintage camera fan, that's for sure. My power wheelchair is a perfect mobile camera mount, LOL. I think that's awesome. That's great. Neuro says, years ago, my Taz 6B4 flex bed, I sliced my hand applying so much pressure with a knife. Yeah. I don't suggest knives. We're going to be doing a whole episode on safety here coming up. No, you're not the only one that it's happened to. I've jabbed my hands. This hand I've jabbed more times than I could shake a stick at with a scraper. Fortunately, I've never had to have stitches, but I have had it bleed quite a bit at times. Take care, everyone, or use a knife sharpener. Okay. Shawdell 3D, take care of yourself. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it. Oh, we're 1 like away from 30 likes. Look at that. 1 like away. If you have one of those tungsten edge trimmer, drag it to the edge and use it. Put a nice bevel on it. Yeah, I could. I just take it to my sander and I'll just bevel it off on my sander. That's all. This actually, this is the BuildTac scraper. I like it because you can, get underneath stuff, but it does not have much of an edge on it. And that's the one thing that I would change about this is I would put that edge on it. This has still got a, there we go, let's go. It's still 43 degrees on that bed. It's still quite warm. Still quite warm indeed. We can turn that off because we don't need me up in the corner. But yeah, I think that, if this is something that you want to try, definitely take a look at it. The Taz SideKick, I'll be putting out my full review of the Taz SideKick on Wednesday. It will be out and online for you to have a look at. There'll be links to Taz, to Lulzbot and the Taz SideKick in the description. There'll be links to filaments.ca, who I want to thank for supplying the first layer with filament. And it's not just because I work for them, it's because I really like their product. They have some great products and they're always expanding their products. If you are a filaments.ca user, congratulations. Thanks for supporting a Canadian-made company. And all of their filament that is labeled filaments.ca is made in-house at filaments.ca. They are the largest manufacturer of 3D printing materials in Canada, and they use naturally sourced materials, including regen, which comes from Quebec, as well as high-end resins to make PLA, PETG, and ABS sourced right here in North America. So, and they're a family-owned business, which always helps as well. You are welcome anytime to come drool over my camera collection. Thank you, B-Roll. I may just take you up on that because I'm a big camera guy. What about using a nice saber like on the champagne bottle? On this, I don't think so. I don't think so. Flex bed should be standard, won't have this issue. Yeah, I agree. Flex bed should be standard. They do charge, a little bit more for the flex bed. But I have glass beds as well, and I use them quite often. What I'm not used to, however, is glass with PEI on it. I have a flex bed on my Prusa. I have a glass bed on my Creality. I've never had glass with PEI on it. This is a first for me. And we'll see how well it releases here when it's fully cooled down. And I probably should use a different scraper. This is probably not the right scraper to be using. Or either that, or I just go ahead and just fix up that edge. Shawdell 3D says, I've ordered a few rolls from them and they are good. Yes, they are good. I really like their stuff. I've liked their stuff for a long time. When I first started doing this, they were kind of hit and miss with their products, and that's the same with some other companies. I like their material. There's another company here in Canada that I've always liked their material. The problem is getting their material in a timely manner, being that they only have one line that they use. So they are trying to expand and get more production lines in so that they can make more material on a more regular basis. But when you only have one line to produce different filaments, it can be a little bit troublesome. There's also a company up in Edmonton that is making filament as well. They only have one line. I believe his name is Alex, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember his company name. Somebody in here, Gary, might be able to tell me what the young man's name is. Tim might actually be able to tell me what the young man's name is, or young man's company is. I got a roll of his filament at the Maker Faire this year. I have not opened it, nor have I used it yet. I guess if I haven't opened it, I haven't used it. And at the end of the day, I think that I am going to use it here pretty soon, because apparently it smells like pumpkin spice, so I'm going to try and use it. But there are a lot of great filaments in Canada. I've stopped using stuff like Sunlu. I don't use Sunlu anymore. I've never liked Sunlu. They've always kind of been hit and miss. Arion's always been a good product in my mind. I really like their filaments as well. Prushiment, expensive, but you know, it is good. It is a good filament. eSun, I really like their ABS. I'm not a big fan of their other materials, but their ABS I really like. B-Roll says, if Canon is your favorite camera, you're not allowed in my house. LOL. Well, then I guess I'm not coming over, because I'm a Canon guy. That camera is a Canon. This camera is a Canon. This camera is a Canon. And I've got another Canon over here. Here is my shoulder rig, Canon. So this is my shoulder rig Canon, which, there we go. I gotta tighten these down. So my shoulder rig is also Canon. This Canon is a fairly old Canon. This is the XH-A1S. I really like that camera. I got it from my brother, actually, who bought that camera for doing videotaping underground. Gary T. Alex sounds familiar. Canadian filament. I think he did a cool live stream while he was running the machine. Very cool. B-Roll, thank you for joining us. It was nice to meet you, and hopefully we'll see you again on another live stream. We do these live streams every Sunday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. They're usually only an hour long. Hopefully we will have our phone line back up and running again next week, so that we can resume call and ask for help. We'll be taking your questions again next Sunday, and going and doing everything that we do. DeWitt says, no, I don't. Just leave it on your doorstep. DeWitt, if you want to use this camera, you're more than welcome to. It needs one thing in order for you to be able to hook it up to your system, though. So, but if you want this camera to use in your studio, you're more than welcome, because I don't use it in this studio. I use 2 video cameras and 1 DSLR in this studio. So inland filament is a good cheap filament. Yeah, I haven't used inland. At least I don't think so. I don't think I've ever used inland, but I've used a number of one. B-Roll says, I'm not going anywhere, LOL. Okay, with that said, guys, it is time to wrap things up. I thank you again for joining me for this live build and unboxing of the Taz SideKick 747. I'm going to continue playing on this thing over the next couple of days. I'm just going to put it aside for now, and we're going to see exactly how it works out, and I'll probably put it over here where this flash forge is, and play with it over the next few days and get some stuff going. Thank you, everybody, for joining me again on the stream. Remember, till I see you next week, remember on Wednesday, the full review of the Taz SideKick will be coming out. Then we're going to get back to looking at Simplify 3D in the weeks to follow and comparing that to some of the other slicers that are available online. Until I see you guys next time live, which will be next Sunday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great 3D print. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye for now. Never know what I'm doing here.